Hi, and thank you for joining me for this training on exam regulations and expectations for summer 2026. My name is Ruth Schofield, and I'm the Exams and Reception Manager for Blackburn College. So we'll be looking at a few things today. We'll be looking at the information pages on Teams, the date of the exam specifically for Maths and English, what you need to bring with you for your exams, what's allowed in the exam room, what you must not have on your person. We'll be looking at before, during, and at the end of your exam, malpractice and what can happen, and then we'll have a quiz at the end. If you haven't already had a look at the Teams site for the exams team, it's a good time to have a look at them now. There's lots of information on there, so including JCQ information for candidates for written exams. That's really important. And you'll also see the posters on there that will be outside of the exam room on the day. So that's the unauthorised items, or the mobile phone poster as it's more commonly known, and the warning to candidates posters. There's lots of information on there, so please do take a look. Please make sure that you can access your college email. Now, if you've never been able to access your college email, now is a really good time to do that. Lots of information will be coming through to your email, including your rooming information, any access arrangements details you might have. So if you are entitled to access arrangements, that information will come through via email to you. The results, when we're looking at the results in August, those will come through to your email as well. So please make sure that you can log in. If you can't and you're struggling, please go to the Exchange and the team there will be able to help you. So on the day of your exam for Maths and English, you need to make sure that you know where you're sitting. So a few weeks before your first exam, you will receive a postcard from us, which will tell you the dates of your exam. You might already know them, but they'll confirm the dates of your exam, which exam or exams you're sitting, so whether you're sitting Maths, English, or both. They'll also be telling you your room number and your seat number if that's applicable. Make sure that you've got that. If you have changed address and you have not updated that with the college just yet, could you please do that as soon as possible? On the day of the exam, make sure that you arrive nice and early. You'll need to meet your teacher, and your teacher will tell you where they want you to meet on the day. If it's your usual practice to have breakfast, please make sure that you do pick something up. It's a good idea to eat a little something and drink something before an exam if you can, if you're able to. You will be escorted to the exam room by the teacher, so either to a smaller room or the sports hall, depending on where you're sitting. If you're running late, please contact your teacher. They will either need to make other people aware that you're running a little bit late, or if you're running very late, they might need to offer you some assistance of any kind, so help getting in, what to do when you get into college, things like that. So please contact them if you are running late. So what do you need to bring to your exam? Well, first and foremost, your ID card. You should be bringing your ID card with you every day when you come to college, but if you have forgotten it, and you're doing a GCSE exam, your teacher will have printed some photographic ID for you that you can pick up from them. Please report to them. Make sure that you can see them and get that ID. If you're sitting any other kind of exam, so not a GCSE Maths or English exam, then you just need to go to the Beacon Centre reception for some temporary ID and a printout of your ID. Okay, so if you're sitting the GCSE, speak to your teacher. If you're sitting any other kind of exam this summer, you need to go to the Beacon Centre reception. You need to bring a pen, black ink only, please. So please make sure that you do bring a pen, the kind of pen that you like to write with. You might need some other equipment. So you might need pencils, rulers, a calculator. If you are sitting GCSE Maths, we will provide you with a math set and also a calculator for papers 2 and 3, but you do need to bring that pen, please. If you're not sitting GCSE with us, then the expectation is that you will bring your own equipment. Do you need any equipment that's specific to you? For example, do you use a particular coloured overlay? If you do, you need to bring that as well. So what's allowed in the exam room? All the equipment that was on the previous slide, your ID, pens and pencils, etc., things like that. You are permitted a clear drinks bottle. Let me see if I can show you mine. So my drinks bottle is absolutely fine. It's completely see-through. However, I would expect somebody to check the lid. It's a very chunky lid, so don't be worried if you have a drinks bottle like that, if the invigilator asks you to unscrew the lid and just show what's on the inside. Pencil cases are absolutely fine as long as they are completely see-through. If they're not clear, you'll just be asked to remove everything that you need from the desk, place it onto the desk, and take the pencil case to the front of the room. Calculator lids, you need to remove them and place them on the floor, but you will be prompted to do this in the announcements. If, when you come to your exam, you think that you've forgotten something, please speak to the invigilator. They will be able to help. Please don't ask your neighbour, just speak to an invigilator, and if they can help, they will do. So what mustn't you have on your person? The first one is probably something you're already aware of. You must not have a mobile phone on your person or any other electronic equipment. Can I just make this very, very clear? Even if your phone is switched off, you must not have it on your person. Either switched on, switched off, on airplane mode, anything, it mustn't be on your person. You need to make sure all alarms are cancelled on your mobile phone, because sometimes what will happen, even if you followed all the rules, you've switched off your phone, you've left it at the front of the room, if an alarm is set, it might still sound. So please make sure you cancel any alarms. You're not allowed headphones or earbuds of any kind, even though your phone should be switched off and at the front of the room. They're not permitted on your person. Any smart devices, smartwatches, smart glasses, anything like that, they are also not allowed. You're not allowed a watch of any kind on your person, so please leave it at the front of the room or leave it at home that day if you prefer. No vaping equipment, no electronic cigarettes. Notes of any kind are not permitted unless the exam specifically allows notes. For GCSE Maths and English, neither one of those exams permit notes of any kind. You are not permitted a non-clear drinks bottle. So, for example, a metal bottle, that's not permitted. You're not allowed food of any kind unless it's for a medical reason, which the ALS team should now already be aware of. You are not permitted a calculator if the exam paper specifically forbids it, and that is for Maths Paper 1. So please do not bring a calculator to your desk for Maths Paper 1. It isn't allowed. And also scrap or rough paper of any kind, that is also not permitted. So please don't bring anything with you. If you need additional paper, if you run out of room in your question paper or your answer booklet, just raise your hand and an invigilator can bring you some additional paper. So, in the sports hall, for those of you who sat with us last year, you might be aware of this already. We will provide you with a pouch to put all of your things in if you do not have a bag that you can store within the secure area. So basically, all you need to do is find your desk. Once you're seated, just take everything else to your pocket that's not supposed to be in there. So, for example, your mobile phone, which will be switched off, any headphones, smart devices, vaping equipment, any watches, any notes, any other electronic equipment, place them into the pouch and ziplock it. The pouch it belongs to your desk, it's labelled to your desk, and before the exam begins, the invigilators will collect them all up, put them in a box for safe storage throughout the exam. Once the exam is finished, the invigilators will get everything back out of there, will place your pouch back onto your desk, and then you can retrieve everything from there. That just means that you know whatever you've brought into the exam room, you are going to get back directly to yourself. We would just ask that you leave the pouch there at the end of the exam, please, so it can be used for the next person. If anybody has got any questions about that, you can speak to your teacher before the exam, but please ensure we've put this in place for you to make sure that you don't have anything on your person throughout the exam that could cost you your exam. Okay, so you probably already know that you need to be in exam conditions during your exam, but what you might not know is exam conditions apply from the moment you enter the exam room until you leave. So as soon as you come into the exam room, there is no talking, no communicating with anybody else. Leave all your belongings in the designated area. So bags, coats, any equipment that's not permitted, such as phones, headphones, things like that, leave them in the designated area. In the sports hall, as we've said, you can put any items that you need to store. If you don't have a bag, in a pouch that is on your desk. As we said, please don't communicate with any of the students at any point when you're in the exam room. Do not open the exam paper until you're asked to do so. Please don't write anything either until you're asked to do so by the invigilator. Make sure that you listen carefully to those announcements. If you're in a smaller room, so a room of 60 people or less, the invigilator will read the announcements to you. If you're in the sports hall, the announcements will be coming to you over the tannery system. So please make sure that you listen carefully to those and that you act on whatever you're asked to do. If you need assistance of any kind while you're in the exam room, please just raise your hand. An invigilator will come to you. So that might be because you need the toilet. Please be aware if you do though, you will be asked to turn out your pockets before you leave the exam room. And also it's only one student at a time who is permitted to go to the toilet at any one time. You might have an access arrangement query. You might just want to double check that they're in place. You might have a question about your particular access arrangements. If you're starting to feel unwell during the exam, just raise your hand and speak to an invigilator. You might need additional equipment or some additional paper if you run out of room in your exam. And if you've got any other query, please just speak to an invigilator. Do not try and attract the attention of your neighbour to ask them. The invigilators, they are there to help you, okay? So malpractice and what can happen. Nobody likes talking about this, but it can happen. And this slide is here to help you make sure that you don't lose your exam for something that was completely avoidable. So malpractice does not mean that you are meaning to cheat. That's the first and very important thing to say. When I speak to people, when they have potentially committed some malpractice, that's often the first thing they said to me. I didn't mean to cheat. I wasn't going to use my phone. The fact that it was on your person still means that malpractice has been committed. So malpractice means that you were not following the rules or you were not listening to the invigilator's instructions. So some really common forms of malpractice that we do see is failing to turn off your mobile phone, failing to cancel an alarm, or leaving your phone in your pocket even if it was switched off. Something else that we keep coming across is having headphones in your pocket even if your phone was switched off at the front of the room. If you were attempting to communicate with another candidate, if you were writing in the exam room before you were told to do so, even if you were just writing your name, that could be flagged as malpractice. So please don't write anything until you're asked to do so. If you were opening the exam paper before you were asked to do so, to have just have a look at the questions before the exam starts, that is also malpractice. And obviously having notes on your person when you're not supposed to do so. If any of these things happen, you will be escorted to the exams office after the exam has finished to make your statement. It is your right to tell us your side of the story to let us know what has happened. The penalties for malpractice can be you might receive a warning, which will be kept on file for 2 years. You might receive a mark of 0 for that exam, or you might receive a mark of 0 for the entire qualification. Obviously, having that conversation with parents or guardians would not be a very fun situation to be in. Ultimately, it isn't worth it. Please don't lose out on your qualification. Listen to the instructions and follow the rules, and there will be no need to be having a conversation with me after your exam has finished. So now that you've watched through the presentation, how much do you know? I'm going to pause for a couple of seconds after each question to give you teacher time to pause the video and just get some ideas. I hope that you get them right. But if there's anything unexpected and you thought, oh, I wasn't sure about that at all, make sure that you ask your teacher afterwards. So question 1, true or false? You can have your phone in your pocket during an exam as long as it is switched off and you don't intend to use it. Of course it's false. You must cancel any alarms, switch off your phone and leave it at the front of the room, in a bag or in a pouch, or with the invigilator. You must not have your phone on your pocket or anywhere on your person during an exam. So well done to those of you who got that right. Question 2, true or false? Leaving headphones in my pocket during an exam could result in me receiving a mark of 0, even if my phone is switched off at the front of the room. It is true. You must not have your headphones in your pocket during the exam or anywhere on your person, even if your phone is switched off at the front of the room. Being found with headphones on your person will mean that you lose all marks for the paper. Leave them in the designated area. So again, well done to those of you who got that right. Question 3. Exam conditions apply from A, the moment you enter the exam room, B, when you've taken your seat, C, once the invigilation announcements have finished, or D, once you open your paper. It is A, from the moment you enter the exam room. So when you enter the exam room, you must not communicate or attempt to communicate with any other student at all for any reason. You are in exam conditions until you leave the room. Question 4, true or false? Doodling on the front of my exam paper or writing something offensive could cost me my exam. It is true. Defacing or writing offensive comments anywhere in your exam paper could be flagged by the examiner and may result in a malpractice investigation that could cost you all of your marks from that paper. So please don't doodle, draw, scribble all over the front of your paper, and don't write anything rude or offensive. The examiner will flag it with us. So well done to those of you who got that right. True or false? While I am waiting for the exam to begin, I can open the paper and take a look at the first question. It is false. This is not allowed. You must not open your question paper until the invigilator has told you that the exam has started and you may begin. Keep that paper closed. Question 6. What kind of drinks bottle is allowed in the exam room? A non-clear metal bottle. B, a water bottle you purchased at college. C, a clear plastic bottle. D, no drinks bottles are allowed. It's C, a clear plastic bottle. We're not that mean. We don't say you can't have a drink at all. However, if you had said B, a water bottle you purchased from the college refectory, but you said as long as the label was removed, you'd be right as well. So well done if you got that. Any drinks bottle is allowed as long as it's clear and all labels are removed. Question 7. You wake up late on the morning of the exam. What should you do? Go back to sleep. You're probably too late. Get up and get dressed as quickly as you can. Call your teacher as soon as possible for advice. Don't panic. If there's a way to get you to your exam in time, the college will help you. So I hope nobody said A there. The answers are B, C, and D. If you do wake up late, or if you're running late for any reason, contact your teacher as soon as you possibly can. If there is a way to get you in on time, the college will help. Don't panic, but you might want to check that alarm clock the night before. Question 8, true or false? If I am expecting to have access arrangements in my exam, such as extra time or a small room, when I receive my email the week before, it says I'm not approved for anything. I don't need to do anything, as it will all be sorted out in time for my exam. That's false. If you think you should have access arrangements of any kind, please check with your teacher before the exam. If, when your email arrives and it confirms you don't have any access arrangements, you need to speak to your teacher very quickly to ensure everything is in place before your exam. Question 9. You have a watch that you would rather not remove during your exam because it has a lot of sentimental or monetary value. What should you do? Leave the watch on. It's up to you if you want to remove it or not. Follow the invigilator's instructions. Remove the watch and leave it in the designated area. Leave the watch at home for the day. Hide the watch in your pocket. The invigilator won't know. So the answer is B or C. You cannot wear a watch of any kind during your exam, so please remove any watches you have and leave them in the designated area indicated by the invigilator. You could also leave it at home that day so that it's safe if you would prefer to do that. You must always follow all the instructions given by the invigilator. If you don't, or if you try to hide anything on your person, there may be severe consequences. And 10, the final question. Now, I now feel like I know the exam regulations, where to find exam information, and how I will know my room number. Well, I hope the answer is true. However, if you feel like you still don't know what to do, or if you have any questions, please just ask your teacher. They will contact the exams department for help and to answer any questions you might have. Thank you everyone for your attention during this presentation. Remember, come prepared and just follow the rules. The very best of luck in your exams this series.